Hey guys, so this is the week 29 vlog. So week 29 started off on Sunday, but a little bit differently because we have a quarantine now. So instead of speaking club, I played soccer for the first time in 6 months. And that went about as you'd expect from the beginning at least. So I started out with one of the best passes I've ever made on a soccer field or maybe any athletic field in my life. Like my second touch on the ball was a beautiful pass. And then after that, it was horrible for like 2 hours. I don't know what happened. I guess like all the skill that I had at the beginning went into that one pass, and that was it. And I was struggling. I was missing passes. They put me as goalie for a couple of games, which I played goalie during one outdoor season entirely, but like I don't know. I almost thought myself out of how to play goalie, even though I'd learned a bunch of tips and stuff during that experience. But anyway, that was bad, and they said it's all right. And then I don't. I just flipped the switch. Shout out to Drake, I guess. But I started listening to like my workout playlist, and I was like, man, I really have to like tune back in and really like start getting into this. So I listened to my music, and it kind of worked, but I came back strong in those last few games. I started getting goals, I got assists, I scored the game winning goal like at the end of all of that stuff. It was a pretty remarkable turnaround, honestly. And thank God, because otherwise it would have just looked really awkward. But yeah, that was pretty cool. It was, on a side note, because it was International Women's Day, we actually did it for this little girl. I don't know Russian that well still, so I don't know exactly what her condition is, but she is in a wheelchair. So we got together different gifts and stuff and presented it to her after we finished playing, and it was like a really nice thing. And after that, I got back, took a nice shower, and refueled on all the food that I was missing because 3 hours of soccer is quite the exertion. So fueled back up, and then I got to work on fixing our song lyrics for church. You know, due to English being a secondary language for a lot of people here, there are a lot of typos. So I've started going through all the slides and fixing all the typos. I actually missed one, and I realized that last Sabbath. I think I was maybe the only one that did, but I saw it and I was like, oh, that's awkward. So I went and fixed that. I'm still going. I should finish that later this week. And also on Sunday, I made tofu. This was my first time ever making tofu by myself. My mom told me how to do it. I don't need to be handheld. But I was just like, okay, I guess I can follow these instructions and this could go well. So I kind of like did learning on the fly, but I finished sending the pictures to my mom, and mom was like, wow, you actually did a pretty nice job. You have to make it when I come home. So getting props from your mom for cooking is always a plus. So that was Sunday, a very long Sunday. And then after that, on Monday, I was just kind of minding my business downstairs after regular day of teaching, and it was about 11 o'clock at night, and then I got a call from Catherine, and I heard something about door and bathroom, and I was like, what happened? So I was like, well, door and bathroom, that means she has to be upstairs. So I went upstairs, and lo and behold, she was locked in the bathroom. The lock actually broke off. These two things are supposed to go together. As you can see, they are not together. That's a problem. So Catherine was locked in the bathroom. We actually had to get the security guard, who had to find some tools to bring and get her out of the bathroom. So that was a bit of an adventure. I sadly did not get the moment she emerged, which in retrospect, like I really would have appreciated getting. I do have a little bit of the aftermath though.
Thank you for getting security.
Girl, I probably should have recorded you coming out the bathroom, but
Just like on my knees, like.
so after that happened, I then had to talk to my mission coordinator and my mom about the coronavirus situation because that thing was escalating by the hour, it seemed. And they were talking about, are you going to be okay? Do you feel comfortable? And I was like, yeah, I'm okay. I think I'll be here. But then, you're starting to hear talk of, different travel restrictions and whatnot. And then I'm seeing kids get sent home from study abroad tours in other parts of Europe. So I'm wondering if their recall is coming out soon. But, it's still not official yet, so I'm still kind of relaxed. And then on Tuesday, I covered a class because a teacher got sick. Scarily enough, it was not expected to be coronavirus, but it was like, ooh, a sick teacher during this time? That's not really good. So I covered, and that was kind of fine. But on Tuesday, I began to hear even more about, shutdowns that were happening in America. So now sports leagues were reacting, and they're canceling this and that event, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And now you're starting to see pictures and videos of people going and buying toilet paper, which I still don't understand what toilet paper has as far as relevance to dealing with the situation. But anyway, there's that going on. And then the panic and hysteria is just kind of rising. So we move forward to Wednesday, and on Wednesday, while I was teaching, they announced that the quarantine would be happening. And the student I was actually with at the time, I assume it was related to the quarantine announcement. She just was getting calls the rest of the class. Like, it was the individual lesson, so it was even a bit more awkward for her, I feel. But they announced this at about 12:20 or 12:30, and between that and the end of the class, the second half of it, she got at least 5 different phone calls during the lesson. So, like, people were just trying to get their minds around this stuff. So that's Wednesday, and then once I hear that here, I'm like, okay, this is not good. I'm probably going to hear from the embassy, which I did, but the embassy only put out a alert. They didn't put out any recommendations or any requisite actions. So I said, okay, cool. On Thursday, however, things kind of fell apart. So Thursday morning at 7 in the morning, I heard a knock on my door, and I figured, like, it must be Katya. They probably announced something, and I might have to be going home. Actually, it turned out to be Catherine, but Catherine was going home. So she knocked on my door at 7 in the morning, which, I mean, I wasn't mad, but I was just like, I feel like this could have just been given in the normal course of the day. Anyway, she announced that she was leaving, and, she has left, so now I'm by myself over here. But when she said, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, is this because of an announcement? So I go and check my phone, and then I see, like, oh, there has been an announcement. So I realized it was just her decision. But, like, overnight, the country fell apart. It was the same night Trump had made a State of the Union address, and things are just starting to shut down. I'm watching America shut down in real time, it feels. And it's just crazy to see. So Thursday kind of goes in slow motion almost, because for the first half of the day, I'm just trying to take in all the information I can and to wrap my mind around what's happening and trying to decide, what will I be doing. And honestly, I stopped and just thought about the kids. And I thought about a few of my favorite students, I guess, in particular. But I thought about, like, leaving the kids, and it almost made you cry, like, right there on the spot. And then I thought about the company, and I was like, man, between those two things, like, I don't really see how I could leave. But that was one side of it, and I'm still waiting for the other side. I just realized America is just not the place to be. The stores are empty, people are not quarantining themselves, people are being irresponsible and greedy, and it just wouldn't be worth it to go back at this point. So after taking all that in, I figured, okay, well, the last step is waiting for this waiver, because our mission coordinator announced that the university was officially requesting our return as part of the university shutting down. Sorry, Andrews people, that really does suck, especially for seniors. But Andrews had closed down. We were officially requested to return, and the way to stay was to get a waiver. So I was waiting on this waiver all day Thursday, and it finally came through late at night. And I was talking to another friend from America. But I just read it before I went to sleep, and I kind of slept on it, so to speak. And when I woke up in the morning, I thought, like, I probably can be covered by this. And then the last hurdle of that was looking at my insurance. And I looked at my insurance, and I'm pretty much covered for everything that matters. Outside of my whole decision of staying here, which was a significant part of the week, I ended up helping paint for our church. So our church got a new paint job, and I helped from 3 to 9 on Thursday. Got Domino's as dinner because I didn't have the desire to cook anything. And then on Friday morning, we were up, started at 10 o'clock and finished at sunset. So put in a number of hours of painting, and it was pretty cool. I got to interact with a guy from church who I'd seen but hadn't really said much to. Got to realize that he actually has a bit of English, and I think he's even trying to learn Spanish on the side, which is kind of cool for an older person because you don't really see older people like dabbling in language learning like that. So that was pretty cool to get to know and experience. But finished painting, got some legitimate painting experience. I think I painted once before, but I don't even remember for sure. This, I know for sure, is probably my first time. And I was painting like a first timer. Yeah, it was a ridiculous week, and it ended on Sabbath with a different looking Sabbath than most. So the two churches go through the same lobby to get to their churches. So going into the lobby, every time you left and came in, you had to get hand sanitizer sprayed on. And then because of, the behavioral recommendations, you're seeing people, but you're just kind of making this awkward eye contact because of the reduction of physical contact. And it was weird, honestly. Like, these people that, you see each other, you're just like, hey, and then you see and you just walk up and you're like, we can't shake hands. So then you just kind of stop and look at each other. Also, I got back on the piano for a little bit. Those of you that know me know I'm not really the biggest fan of the piano. It's nothing against the piano. It was just my environment and the fact that pretty much everyone else also knew how to play piano. But I got back on there. It was actually kind of nice. I think I would like to at least reclaim the songs I have learned in the past. So I might look into that, but it's still bass playing for the most part on my end, which probably will be doing a few covers since we're in this quarantine period now, and we'll be refining my technique and stuff. And then in the afternoon, I went on a walk with Sasha. It was a really windy day, so instead of staying outside, you went inside, which was good because it reminded me that I had to clean our toilet because it got clogged. I don't use a lot of toilet paper. I use like 2 or 3 sheets maximum because you don't need 10. You just don't. And I went and got the drain cleaner, and then I put it in and let it sit. Thank God it worked. So I guess the biggest point of last week is that I am deciding to stay. It was a little bit difficult, maybe. It was just like wanting to make the right decision and knowing that, I do have full responsibility for this. But I'm someone that I don't mind taking responsibility for my actions because I've just been in too many leadership positions and too many positions of influence at this point to not do that. That's just how life is. Like, you have to, as an adult, you have to be able to take responsibility for your actions. If you don't take responsibility, that's a whole ray of wisdom thing. Maybe I'll drop that question later or something. Anyway, that was a very, very crazy week 29. Week 30 hopefully will be a bit better. It probably will be a lot shorter than this video is because things will be a lot more simplified moving forward for the next 3 weeks. But anyway, thanks for all the support, guys, and there's a lot more to come soon. Peace.
It will be all